Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, call halal yamla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well as well as teach well. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And the title of this video is going to be The Straight Gate is the Only Way. The straight gate is the only way. Okay, because we, from Apostle Har on down to the least of us here in Great Millstone, we clearly see that, Jacob's trouble is on the horizon. Okay, great tribulation is right around the corner. All right, especially looking at the next 5 days leading up to the inauguration of this guy Trump getting back in office. Okay, and we here at Great Millstone, starting with our apostles and our elders and our bishops on down to the least of us, we definitely feel through the spirit that when this guy Trump officially gets inaugurated into office, 5 days from now, that things are gonna greatly turn up as far as prophecy. Okay, when dealing with prophecy, and more calamities, more mischief upon mischief. All right, and then you have both the CIA and I believe the either the FBI or the DHS or all three, for all that matters, all warning that that T attack that happened in New Orleans, on so-called New Year's Eve, all right, a couple weeks ago. They're saying that there's thousands of sleeper cells all across the country, and that there's going to be even more T attacks happening in this country, America, Babylon the Great, all right, throughout the year 2025, and according to the Bible, that's all associated with end time prophecy, which is going to lead to what, mass lockdowns, and all right, and of course, in some way, shape, or form, we know that Esau Edom is going to try to tie certain of these T attacks, all right, to the ministry, and use these things to in some way, shape, or form blame the ministry and blame the men of Yahweh Shemal Shai. All right, that's preaching 100% gospel, the 100% truth. In which that's all according to prophecy. All right, Esau Edom coming down with great wrath. All right, the accuser of our brethren. Shutting everything down, implementing his NWO system. Where he wants to put everybody on a digital grid via the Charagma and digital IDs and all these things. All right, all with the help of guys like E. Musk and Gil Bates and all these other tech high level tech gurus on the left hand side. All right, and hey, these times that we're coming into, all right, Yahweh Shai spoke of these things here in Matthew the 7th chapter, known as the straight gate. This is Matthew chapter 7 verse 13. Yahweh Shai is speaking. He says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." Enter ye in at the straight gate. And this Yahweh Shai basically giving us commandment right here. Those of us that are of the hopeful elect, the remnant. Entering at the straight gate. All right. He's not asking us to go into the straight gate. No, he's straight up telling us, all right, go through the straight gate, because that's the only way. The only way that leads ultimately to the kingdom of heaven, salvation. All right. Enter ye in at the straight gate. Let's look up this word straight. All right, Strong's G 4728. Stenos goes into narrow, straight, and then in the Strong's definition it says narrow from obstacles standing close about. See that? Obstacles standing close about. All right, and here it is, and in this truth already, this being in his ministry, being in this truth already, and serving Yahweh Shemal Shai and preaching his gospel, and as well living according to the gospel to the best of our abilities, that in itself is a straight gate within itself. Okay, being in the truth comes with many obstacles. All right, many heartbreaks, many losses. Okay, whether it be financial losses or job losses. Okay, losing family members or certain friends you may have had in the world and things like that. This truth, being in this truth, it comes with many losses in this world, but it's ultimately what to receive the ultimate W, okay, the ultimate victory, okay, through Yahweh Shai. All right, and it's challenging, okay, because like it says in real quick in Sirach 2:1, Sirach chapter 2 verse 1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Okay, because when you're going down a particular path to get somewhere, all right, to fervently get somewhere, and it has obstacles and many bumps on the road down that path, then that means what? There's a lot of temptations down a path, a lot of things that you have to endure through and fight through. Okay, constantly endure, like it says, and it says, and make not haste in time of trouble. Make not haste to approach these obstacles and the various temptations that you come through, that you encounter in this truth, and deal with it in a carnal sense. Okay, deal with it according to your emotions. No, you got to deal with it through the spirit. All right, because dealing with these obstacles in this truth according to your flesh, according to your emotions, it'll lead to what? As it said, it'll lead to you making haste. Okay, making a decision. All right, that'll be detrimental to your salvation, detrimental to ultimately your life. You see, and there's various scriptures throughout the Bible that speaks out against making haste in the time of trouble. As a matter of fact, I'm just getting one. All right, one scripture that comes to mind real quick. Yep, this is Proverbs chapter 19. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Okay, verse 2. Also the soul that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. Okay, yeah, the soul that is without knowledge, without the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all right, as well as the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai, that's not good. Okay, and especially and of course, not without faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's all right, that's not good. It's not profitable, especially in the times that we're coming into. If you don't have those things, this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding, the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai, faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai, okay, that's not going to be a good mindset entering into Jacob's trouble. Okay, and it says Proverbs 19:2 again, also that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good, and he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. See that? He that hasteth with his feet sinneth, especially when you haste in a time of trouble. Okay, the Lord's going to liken that to a sin, because what? To do something in haste is basically meaning what? You're doing something without faith. You're doing something without faith that Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to come through for you in that situation. Okay, so you just take it upon yourself to find your own solution within your own troubles or obstacles or afflictions or whatnot. But that's ultimately a faithless mindset, and that's why the Lord likens that mindset to sin. He that hasteth with his feet sinneth. All right, it's like it. All right, and Sirach 2 verse 2 again, set thy heart aright. Okay, dealing with when you come to serve the Lord, right? And when you prepare your soul for temptation, right? As it says in Sirach 2:1. So verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Yep, make not haste in time of trouble, because when you make haste, you sin it, as we read in Proverbs. All right, So let's go back to Matthew 7 and 13 again. Yahushua is speaking, enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Let's look up this word gate, because we already looked up what the word strait goes into: obstacles, narrow. All right, now let's look up this word gate.
Strong's G 4439. Poulet. Poulet.
And it says, a gate of the larger sort in the wall of either a city, a palace, town, the temple, a prison. And then, okay, I'm going to jump down to definition 3, Roman numeral 3. It says, metaphorically, the access or entrance into any state. Okay, the access or entrance into any state. All right, enter in at the strait gate. And how do we have access into this strait gate? This ministry itself is likened to a strait gate. All right, and how do we have access to this ministry? Okay, this truth, via Yahushua and the men that he set up on the earth to teach us this truth. Our apostles, our bishops, and elders, a great millstone on down. Okay, as well as, of course, the men that came before them, going all the way back to our forefather Abba Bivens. All right, so this ministry as a whole is likened to a strait gate. Okay, and as Yahushua spoke about in the scriptures, he is a door. Okay, he's a door that basically leads us to the Father. All right, and when you look at a door, right, a door that goes into a house or enters into a building, a door is normally big enough for only one person to go through at one time. Okay, and that's likened to this ministry, which I'm going to go into that in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. All right, so Matthew 7 and 13 again, Yahushua speaking, enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Okay, and what is the broad way that leads to destruction? Basically, you seeking to enter into the kingdom, in some other way outside of the 100% truth of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, that we've been taught from our apostles and bishops and elders, a great millstone. Because when you look at it, these other Israelite camps, they're trying to seek salvation some other way. Okay, by trying to seek salvation by, all right, denying the names of the Father and the Son. Okay, which how in the hell could you be an Israelite thinking that you can receive salvation from the Heavenly Father through His Son without calling on His names? Okay, Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, that's insane, and ultimately that's not scriptural. Okay, the scriptures clearly says in both the Old and New Testament, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Okay, so when you're not calling on the name of the Lord, you're going through the broad way. You're trying to go up some other way. All right, and also you got camps teaching that Esau and the other nations can receive salvation. That's also part of the broad way that leads to destruction. You're trying to teach this doctrine, all right, to save the heathen, all to what? To basically lighten the blow of persecution that Esau and these heathen are going to bring against the ministry. You're basically trying to soften them up, so to speak, by teaching them a doctrine that they can receive salvation, this, that, and the third. Okay, that's also part of the broad destructive way. All right, and also camps teaching that there's not going to be any Jacob's trouble. That's also part of the broad way that leads to destruction, because you're basically teaching your congregation to that there's no strait gate. Okay, you're teaching your congregation basically that there's no strait gate. Okay, which is clearly contrary to what Yahushua is speaking of right here in Matthew 7 and 13. Okay, and also camps teaching that the MOTB is not the micro C hip. Okay, that's also part of the broad and destructive way, because you're basically teaching your congregation, all right, as we clearly see Esau and his heathen getting ready to set up a digital system on earth, okay, that's not only going to be used to track and trace people, but also this digital system is going to be implemented to allow people to buy and sell within the system via what the micro C hip in their right hands or their foreheads. And so if you're a Kemp and you clearly see the direction that this world is going as far as technology, and you're not you're not linking the technology that we see being implemented into the earth to Bible prophecy, especially the Revelation 13 and 16, then guess what? You're also going down the other wide and destructive way. All right, and many there be which go in thereat. Okay, you got a lot of our people that know that they're Israelites, but they don't want to go through the straight and narrow path, the difficult path that Yahweh Shai went through to obtain His glory. Okay, they're trying to go up some other way. All right, and that's why, hey, a lot of our people that know that they're Israelites, okay, are going to be they're going to be dealt with by the Lord harshly for trying to go up some other way. All right, this is verse 14, Matthew 7 and 14. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Yeah, few there be that find the straight and narrow path that leadeth to life. Okay, and that's why Yahweh Shai said in the scriptures, many are called, but what? Few are chosen. Because it's only a few that's chosen to go down the straight and narrow path, this straight gate, and make it to the end. Constantly endure to the end of this straight gate. You see. And now let's take it to 2nd Ezra 7. Okay, 2nd Ezra the 7th chapter. All right, because what Yahweh Shai is speaking of in Matthew 7 about the straight and narrow path, the straight gate. Okay, that goes back to what we're about to read right here in 2nd Ezra 7. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7, starting from the top. It says, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore. Verse 2, and he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. Verse 3, and I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. Verse 4, But put the case the entrance were narrow and like a river. Okay, the entrance were narrow like a river. Speaking of what? That straight gate, that straight and narrow path that Yahweh Shai spoke of in Matthew 7. Okay, so this is clearly going to the straight gate. All right, showing you that Yahweh Shai taught things that was basically from the Apocrypha. And showing you that the Apocrypha is in fact divinely inspired by Yahweh Shema Shai. As a lot of these Christians would have you to believe that the Apocrypha is not part of the Bible. But we clearly see that it very much is. And Yahweh Shai, again, taught things that was rooted in the Apocrypha, such as the straight gate, the straight and narrow path that we're going into in this lesson. Okay? So 2nd Ezra 7, verse 4 again. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. And here we see that word entrance again. Okay? And as we went into in Matthew 7, the straight gate, that word gate went into entrance. You see? An entrance to a city, roughly paraphrasing it, or a place. Okay? Verse 5, 2nd Ezra 7, verse 5. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Okay? And the broad right here in verse 2nd Ezra 7 is not speaking of the destructive way or the destructive path, but it's talking about the kingdom of heaven right here. Okay? So as it's saying again, 2nd Ezra 7 verse 5. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Yeah, so in other words, if you don't enter through the straight narrow path, the straight gate, okay, and if you try to go up some other way, okay, then how could you enter into the kingdom? How could you receive salvation? How could you receive the victory if you're not striving for the victory? Which part of striving for the victory includes what? Going through the straight gate, okay? You know, coming to the true understanding that you're an Israelite and cleaving to the 100% doctrine taught by our apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and as well eventually being built up to preach the 100% gospel, okay, knowing and understanding that this gospel that we preach against this beast system and its image and its mark is all going to lead to more difficulties, more afflictions, more hell, more persecution, okay. If you're not willing to go through all those things, okay, in this ministry, then how could you believe that you're worthy to be the first fruits to enter into the broad, okay, the kingdom, because Yahweh Shai had to go through a straight gate to enter into his glory, be persecuted, despised, and rejected among men, be numbered amongst the transgressors, okay, be put upon that cross, mocked and ridiculed and spat on, okay, constantly being pestered and bickered by the wicked scribes and Pharisees that didn't believe on him, okay. Yahweh Shai had to go through hell, okay, to get back at the right hand of the Father, okay. So how much more us, all right, that bear our cross, okay, after Yahweh Shai, that's making our bodies living sacrifice and renewing our minds to Yahweh Shema Shai. We have to go through the straight gate as well to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai's glory, okay. 2 Ezra 7 verse 6. There's also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, okay, and it's full of all good things, okay. So there's proven right here that the broad place that is speaking of in verse 5 is talking about the kingdom, okay, and not the way of destruction as spoke of in Matthew 7, okay. Let's read it again. 2 Ezra 7 verse 6. There's also another thing. A city is builded. What is that city? The kingdom of heaven, okay, and set upon a broad field, all right, and it's full of all good things, okay. Yeah, because once we enter into the kingdom, we're going to have new bodies, okay. We're going to be under the new covenant where the laws and the commandments going to be in our inward parts, to where we'll never go off again. We're never going to sin against Yahweh Shema Shai. We're never going to get sick. We're never going to get hungry again. Never going to get thirsty. Never going to get tired, weary. Okay. I'm going to be able to travel the depths of the ocean and the throughout the heavens, and okay, travel to the different planets in the solar system. All right. We're going to be able to do all these things once we enter into the kingdom. Okay. And more. You see. Verse 7, the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall. Yeah, the entrance thereof is narrow. This straight gate is narrow. Okay, it's full of obstacles, full of, afflictions. All right, full of temptations. And it says, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand side. All right, on the right hand. And on the left, a deep water. Yeah. And, in this truth, in this ministry, if you, seek to turn any way outside of this ministry, to this world and whatnot, okay, because when you look at fire and water are things that can destroy you, okay. And, when you're in this truth, if you look to try to, seek some other way to the kingdom outside of this truth, this 100% truth, this 100% gospel, then ultimately you're going to find yourself in a situation that's going to destroy you, okay, in some way, shape, or form. A situation that's going to be detrimental to your salvation, all right. And so, hey, showing you that even though this truth has comes with a lot of difficulties and temptations, ultimately this truth, this gospel, this ministry is literally the safest place on earth, Because anywhere else in this world, it's dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous. Anywhere else in this world, it doesn't lead to salvation. It doesn't lead to peace and safety. It doesn't lead to prosperity, and ultimately, it doesn't lead to Yahweh Shema Shah. You see, so this truth, this ministry of Yahweh Shema Shah is literally the one and only safest place on earth. Anywhere else on this earth is dangerous. Okay, it doesn't lead to salvation. It doesn't lead to the kingdom. So it says again, 2 Ezra 7 verse 7, the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. Verse 8, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but so small that there could but one man go there at once. Yeah, and that's why, the Apostle Paul, he speaks about, let let me just go ahead and get it. Kind of slips on mine at the moment. Salakia. Yeah, Philippians 2 and 12. Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yeah, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Fearing what? That you could fall into fall out of the straight and narrow path that we're reading of. Okay, fall by whatever temptation that comes before you. All right, in this truth, whatever obstacle. Okay, and ultimately, fear that you can fall out of this truth. Period. Okay, work out your salvation with fear, because again, we're in it. This truth itself is likened to a straight gate, a straight and narrow path. Okay, position of difficulty. Okay, comes with a lot of temptation, a lot of afflictions. As Scripture says, we suffer for righteousness' sake. All right, and that's one of the main things the apostles been pushing over these past few months. That this truth, all right, is about suffering. It comes with a lot of suffering. Okay. So let's read 2 Ezra 7 verse 8 again. And only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Working out your salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, because in this truth, you got to be fully persuaded in your own mind. You can't just believe in this truth because somebody else believe in it. No, you have to believe in it within yourself as well. Because if you don't believe, then like we're going into, you could fall to the left or the right hand side into a dangerous place. All right, back into the world or whatnot. All right. It says, verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Yeah, so if you don't go through, the afflictions and the temptations that the Scripture says we were meant to go through in this truth, then how could you expect to be first fruits to receive an inheritance from the Lord? To receive salvation and victory from the Lord. So, as an Israelite, you have to understand when you come to serve Yahweh Shema Shai in 100% truth, you're going to go through suffering. You're going to go through affliction. There's no other way to get to the kingdom of heaven without, going through all these things. Because also one thing to understand as well is all these afflictions and sufferings also are meant to purge us. Purge us from, our iniquities, our sins, whatever imperfections we may have, So this, not only does it serve, being in this truth, not only does it serve as as chastisement, all these afflictions that we go through, but they ultimately serve to to make us better, to make us more pure. You see, matter of fact, Let's see real quick. This is Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, chapter 7 and verse 3. It says, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance of the heart is made better. Yeah, the sadness of the countenance, the heart, meaning what? The lob, the mind, is made better. And in its truth, it comes with sorrow, it comes with suffering, but it's ultimately for the purpose of what? Purging our iniquities out, purging our imperfections out. All right, all to what? To make us better. To make us better mentally and of course spiritually, and as well, being in the truth can also make you better physically. You learn how to eat better. You learn how to take care of yourself better. You see, you learn how to treat yourself better. That's ultimately what this truth is all about. Just making us better and better up until the day of salvation. Bringing us from glory to glory to glory to glory. All right. Second Ezra 7 verse 9 again. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Okay, verse 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. And what I like about verse 10 is that proves that everything they were reading about here in this chapter, the straight and narrow path, okay, which is what inspired Yahushua to speak about the straight gate in Matthew 7. Okay, this all proves that Yahushua's gospel, his doctrine, the whole concept of the straight gate and being in his truth and working towards salvation. This only applies to Israelites. You see, this is Israel's portion and Israel's portion only. It only applies to Israelites. Okay, no heathen can be a part of this truth. No heathen can go through the straight gate. All right, and no heathen can receive salvation. No heathen can enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, this only applies to Israelites. This is only the portion of Israel. You see, starting with us, the hopeful elect, from our apostles and our elders and our bishops, a GMS, down to the least of us. All right. So yeah, so I'm pretty much ended off on there. Lord willing, this video is edifying, and until next time, shalom.